So, I welcome all of you today to our TokSkill Masterclass webinar on PHP. My name is Tuti and I'm working as a front-end developer at TokSkill. And I will be the co-speaker for all of you for today's event. So, before we start, I want to introduce all of you to our platform TokSkill. So, TokSkills supports aspiring creators to acquire new skills and knowledge through our practical hands-on learning experiences. We believe that the best way to learn something is by doing it. So it's always good to have hands-on experience on whatever we do. Like it's always good to have your work of proof. So we have courses in different languages, different regional languages. So you can learn the course in your language that is in whichever language that is comfortable for you. You can go through our website, like we have shared the link. If you have any doubts related to our website, you can ask us, or raise your hand and text us or do anything. So let's get started now to our event. I'm excited to introduce all of you to our amazing speaker, Mr. Jaitra Bopanna. And he's the coolest co-founder I've ever met, and he likes it when people call him Mr. JB. So you can call him Mr. JB. So talking about his experience, he has 10 plus years of experience in building web apps. So he has built study.net. I would be sharing my screen and telling you, showing you what he has built over there. So he's something which Mr. JB has built, and he has built this from scratch for a US based big company. So all of you are getting the chance to learning from a person who has so much of experience in this field. So I can stop my screen now. And yeah, so we welcome Mr. JB to
Thank you,
speak
Smriti.
over the event.
Thank you for introducing me. Welcome to the webinar, and hope everybody is doing well. All right. Yes, that you can just what do you say? Mute your hi. Um, uh, I will unpin you and unpin myself. All right. So this is how it works. And welcome everybody. We are here at last. So hopefully everybody have an idea about what we are going to do today. This is a masterclass on PHP basically. So this I'll not go into deep dive and everything to make you confused. I'll just get on with the basics and show you how to create a login page, create a login form, make it uh, work in front of you, and then I hope you can also join with me and have that experience, right? So this is how we start. So let me share my screen and then we'll start from there. So if you see the things what we're using is PHP, right? PHP is actually a very old and still running language right now. 90% of the web works on PHP. So if you I'm actually showing this because this is called Exam. So this is what we are going to use to build it. If you haven't downloaded it, please download Exam. Here is the link. I'll send it to you here. All right. I hope everybody is good. Let's go further. Okay. So this is what XAMPP is, and then we are using VS Code. You can use anything. Just search VS Code and you'll get it. Okay. I'll just close these two things and I will come back to VS Code. Okay. So this is how we getting started, right? I'm using the Mac. Your development thing might change. So keep in mind when you install XAMPP in your C drive in the Windows. So just uh, go to the Windows folder. Sorry, go to the C drive. Go to the XAMPP. Go to the HT docs under that folder. Create a folder called webinar inside that. So I'm reiterating it. But if you're a Windows, you know. Okay, right? I'll just write it here. Uh, if you are Windows, just do go to C folder, then go to exam, then go to HT docs. create a folder called for webinar. Okay, this is where we're gonna start our development thing. Okay, so what in Mac, I'll show you what to do and where to do it. I go to my Finder, I go to my applications, I open my exam, I go to the htdocs, and I create new folder called webinar. Webinar. All right, webinar. Okay, and I'll come back here to file. Uh, come back here to this part. This is all Explorer. We'll do a open folder. We'll go to applications. We'll go to exam. We'll go to htdocs. Open. Just click open. That's it. Okay. Our folder is open here. So I'm reiterating one more time. If you guys have any kind of doubt, I'll let you. Okay, screen is very small, fonts are very small. All right. I think you need to pin this one. Can you just pin my screen, Harsha? There's an option when you do this, right? Look, there is an option unpin, pin and unpin. What I'm doing is this one. Okay, if you want to get it zoom, yeah, I can do that. All right. So this is it. So what I'm going to talk about it like today is basics of PHP. So we have multiple things we can do in PHP. We can create a web page. We can create scripts. We can connect the database. We can run an entire full-fledged data, CMS system. After this, if you are really into it, you can become a freelance developer. You can get a job. You can showcase your skills. You can build your own websites. You can create your own APIs. Whatever is possible. But one thing you keep in mind is this is a scripting language, and you cannot create Android apps or some kind of apps or Windows apps with it. This is basically which will run on a browser. Okay, so let's start with a thing. Anybody has any kind of doubts, Stuti, please let me know. Okay, we reset option. Okay, all right. Okay, you guys can just follow this one at the beginning. I'll just show you what things can be done through PHP, basic things, echoing, etc., so looping, all these functions, so that you guys can have a basic understanding about where to start. Most of the people doesn't have idea to where to start at the beginning. Even I didn't have it at some point of time. So what we'll do is we'll create something called a new file here. We will name it hello.php. What we will do is I will just make my code little bit bigger. 3 columns appearance. Zen mode full screen. Run problem search. Give me a second, okay, guys. Preferences. Online settings, extensions, keyboard shortcuts. All right. I think we will have something here. Text editor. Text page size can be changed to 20. Okay. PHP. I hope you can just check it out. This is how we started. All right. You hope everyone can see it, right? Can you see it? Stuti, can you see my screen properly?
Yeah, like I can see your screen.
All right. Sure. Okay. This is how we start, right? So the basic notation of starting a PHP is actually this mark, right? Question mark, left arrow, question mark, PHP, and there should be a closing tag of question mark and right. Greater than symbol, lesser than symbol, question mark and PHP, and greater than symbol, question mark and greater than symbol. Okay. Whatever you write inside this actually is processed by the PHP uh, compiler. So if we do an echo is actually a printing statement. Echo, uh, welcome to the class. Okay. So this is how it should be done. But look, even after writing this one, we need to run it, right? So how do we run it? Okay, we go to the settings, and if you are in the Windows, right, just search control panel, exam, or just exam. You can open it this one, and you can just start all in this. Just we need Apache and MySQL. MySQL we don't need right now, but just start the Apache web server and keep it running. So once you have started the server, if you open this, and if it local is right, local host, and this is h2 localhost, local host. Okay. If we hit HTTPS is to local HTTP is localhost, it will take you to this dashboard. This actually shows you have installed the exam. So here are the few things that you can just look at for which directory your PHP file is in, loaded configuration file. This is not actually needed for now. If you go beyond your profession, like normal level of coding, and if you want to go and configure all these modules in some point of time, use frameworks and everything, this will be a very good starting point. So we have PHP MyAdmin, which is basically what we call our database thing. Look, we have webinar database here. We have posts user. You know, we can create database using PHP MyAdmin. Simple as that. Okay. All right. So I will come back to this. I have localhost slash. We have webinar slash. What is the page name? Hello.php. So welcome to the class, right? So what we should be doing is localhost actually handles the path till webinar, which is Apache. So you have the folder called webinar. Inside that there is a file called hello.php. So write it exactly same like this: localhost slash webinar, or whatever the folder you have created and whatever the file name you have created. I hit hello.php. Look, we have welcome to the class. So here we have welcome to the class one. We'll change it, and whether we'll see whether it reflects there. Doesn't, because it's on the page refresh. All right, we can do it without page refresh. Once they save it here, it happens. But it's for later course. Okay. So welcome to class one. So this is basic echo. So what we'll do is we'll just go for variables. Declaration variable is using a dollar sign, and we can have like dollar $a is equal to 1. All right. And then we have var dump. Var dump is actually dumping of entire variable with their properties. If you do dollar of a, check this out. We have dollar of a is equal to 1 and var dump of dollar of a. So if you do var dump dollar of a, uh, so it'll just come with int 1. Let me just comment this out. It will be int 1. So it's a part of integer, right? So and then if you do a is equal to test. So I'm not declaring it as int, float, or anything. I'm just assigning values to it. The PHP will automatically take it as a value. You know, convert it into their own type. This is string, which is a full length, test. So if I do 1.1, this will be basically just shows floating value numbers. Look, the floating value numbers is actually up to 32. So if you just say this is, we can see just 1.1, the rest is 0 here. But the bit operators will take it to the 32. We can just restrict it to 1.1 if you want to. So this is basic. We can create a variable. We can have a string, we can have a number, or we can have a boolean value, true or false. Right? So this is boolean value, true or false. We just have to have a dollar and have to have any kind of variable. Variable is it. It's done. All right. So what we'll be looking at is how to write an array after this. Okay, array can be created as simple two types of arrays. You can have it one with an array declaration on and one with an assignment to that index itself. We can create is cars equal to array of uh, BMW, comma, Tata, comma, uh, Mahindra, right? So we have an array with three, values. What we'll do is we'll do a random of the cars. So we have created array with three values, and if we do add up of cars, look, we have array of three here. We have string with BMW, string with Tata, and string with Mahindra, right? What happens if I just change it to one here? We'll have two strings and one integer. Look, we can have multiple ways of storing data. If you just do string of three, all right. So if you do a string of three and string of four and there is int of one, right? So what we see here is this array adapts to the data type. We don't need to declare what kind of like data type we are storing there. For particular index, you can store a particular data type. We can have one more way of declaring it is of cars of 0 is equal to BMW, color of cars of 1 equal to Tata, color of cars of 2 is equal to Mahindra, right? At 3. And what we can do is random. Have saved it. I think I have missed the semicolon. Guys, this is the most important thing. You can miss anything in PHP, but not the semicolon. It will throw you errors otherwise. Look, the error is gone now. Can look, we have 0, we have BMW, string of 4, 1 have Tata, like 2 we have Mahindra, right? The array index starts from 0 here. Imagine we are changing the Tata to 1 and Mahindra to 1.25. All right. So when if you're changing the cars of one to an integer and cars of two and to an floating number and cars of 0 is in string. See, we have string, we have integer, and we have float. Three different data types residing in a actual array itself. So array doesn't hold an actual data type. It actually holds the values of the data type, whichever we give it to them. So the next thing what I'm gonna talk about is what we call a function. Okay, we can have variables. Now we can have for loops and everything. I hope everybody is good with loops and statements. We can just jump into functions and make things work. This will be much better approach for us. Okay, the function is declared simple as this function. What is the add number? Okay, I can add number of, it's a function declaration. We should have a function followed by function name followed by two brackets, closing brackets, and then open and one closing brackets. So what we do is we need to add two numbers in this one. Imagine, so we have two numbers, a comma color of b. All right, so what we were doing is we were actually adding this function, right? Add number 1 comma 2, and we're echoing the results. So look at 3 here. If you can see here, there is 3. So we have added the two variables here, 1 comma 2. If you're going to pass one string and one integer, it's going to break your code. We cannot do that. We need to specifically add two like normal. All right. So if you see here, a comma b, right? What do you think it will happen if you add two strings? No, it will just break because this is not concatenation thing. What we can do for a string is dot operator. For concatenating two strings, there is dot operator, AB, right? So if so, this is how you create a function, and this is how you can uh, pass a variable and then add, or concatenate strings with this. So this is when this comes to functions, this is it. So what we can do is we can pass something to an array to function, and we'll try to iterate through loops and actually show you an example for it. So imagine we have something called cars, right? Cars is equal to array of BMW, Audi, Tata, Tesla. So we have an array of cars here. So we have, okay, param. We have one parameter here. Okay, it's the like it's called the function as uh, car divider. Okay, and then give me a second, guys. Right. So we have an array of cars here, and we have a function called car divider. We have a parameter passing to that. So what we can do is uh, we can call the function car divider with the cars. So what we would like to do in this function is actually divide these cars and actually show it in the uh, front end. So we have the parameter here. So we'll use the for loop because we know number of, 1, 2, 3, 4, index in here. What we'll do is dollar of I, same as C, dollar of I less than 3, or 0, 1, 2, 3. So it is less than equal to 3, dollar of I plus plus. And what we will do is, oh, for dollar of I is equal to 0. We start from 0, which will run until less than 3 is 0, 1, 2, 3. So it will be 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, I plus plus. So what I'll do is I'll do an echo of param of dollar of I. So what this would do is it would just take the index of the param. So we have cars of 4 here, 0, 1. Cos of 0 has BMW, cos of 1 has Audi, like that. So it will be like param of 1. It's like cars of 1 will be there. So if we just run this one, you can see, right? Give me a second, guys. I'll just add br tag. So this is a br tag which actually gets to the new line dot br. BMW, Audi, Tata, and Tesla. Okay, we are actually looping through the entire thing rather than writing echo, cars of 1, echo cars of 2, echo cars of 3. So we have entire parameters here. Anybody have any kind of doubts that then they can ask, please do. All right, no problem. Am I going too fast or too slow? Let me know, guys. All right, so then we can just get back to this. Okay, we have for loops here, and then we can have while loop, do while loops, and everything. So I'll show like two for loops for today. This is the best case scenario for you guys. And imagine that we have no idea what parameters that we are passing through, and we need to iterate through it. So we use for each of dollar of params as dollar of one row for us. Printer. Printer is like same like Vadam. It doesn't matter. That's the same thing as Vadam. What we're doing. Printer actually doesn't show all this string in like type of info for us. So for each row in the param, we will take as one row, and then we'll print the row. So uh, here we will do a dot here. That's for the next line. we have same thing. If we add one more extra, right? Add Tata we have added Mahindra. They should automatically print that one because for this loop we don't need to know how much indexes we have or what kind of data we are sending. It will just iterate until its end of the line. We got Mahindra, right? So we have this for loop running here. What I will suggest is that this is how we write the function, this is how we pass it. We can just play around with these functions and know what to do actually with this. So coming to the next part is actually what we call post variable, server variable. These are all very high level things. So let's start with creating some kind of page, one login page where everything will be set up for you already. I will share you the code for that. You can just actually download it from this, and you guys let me know once you have done it. This is how to do it. Just click it, log into the page, and click on login.html. Just keep it here, copy raw content. Okay, copy the raw contents. This is simple. Come back here, t- take it to the hello.php page, paste it. That's it, done. All right. So I'm going to explain one more time. Go to that link, click on login.html. You can just do a copy like this too, or you can just click on this the copy content. All right. So this is it, and we have this page, right? So we have an HTML page here. I'll explain what is HTML. Simple as this. We have a document of HTML, language English. We have title of how to create. We have two links, style sheets outside this one. This is actually a bootstrap thing for designing stuff. For now we'll just keep it, we'll ignore it. And this is for all for styling the page. Okay, this is login page, class width 100, display inline block, etc, etc. So our thing starts from here in the div. We have all this div. uh, just let me just run it and see how it looks. Look, this is how it actually looks. Username, password. Okay, for us the design doesn't matter for now. We will just see from here. We have form action. Okay, this is the block that we will be concentrating on. We can just concentrate on this block for now. Kind of questions. All right, good. Okay, so if you see here, right? All right, good. If you see here that we have a form is actually a combination of elements inside the page. We have elements called input type text, and we have in button type submit. Okay, so action is where you send these data, right? Username and password. To which URL do you need to send this one? Here we have hello.php. We will do is we have the URL as simple. We have the webinar hello.php. We have to a slash webinar slash hello.php. All right, and we will have a method. Okay, method can be get or method can be post. We'll use post method. Get, what happens is get actually shows the entire data in the URL. I'll just show it to you. If you do a method dot get, refresh the page, and you enter username for test and password as test. See here, username and password will be shown in the URL. So this is not a good way to do it, right? So what if we do post? We'll remove this one. PHP test and test. So look, I can't see the data where it went, but we can actually capture the data in the actual page where we sent it. So Here we have input text and its name is username, and we have input type called password. We have make it password, guys. Okay, and we have name of password. We have one more thing. We don't need this. You can just delete it for now. Or even the forgot password, we don't need it. We have login button, which is actually submit button. When the button type is submit within this form, when we click on submit button, this form automatically submits to this URL with these two datas inside it. Okay, you see, only we have username, we have password. If you click login, it actually refreshes page for a while. You can just see. So now we have this HTML, right? But how to catch the data what we're sending from here and see whether the data is correct or not? What we can do is we can go in the top and write PHP and close off PHP. Okay. So what we can do is let's just do a printer of dollar underscore post. Everything is capital. So the post variable contains all the data what we have posted. Okay. Simple as this. If you refresh, no. If I do an page, right? Oh, I'm sorry. If uh, give me a second, guys, because I think what I have done here is something else. Okay, test of test.com. All right. So what we should do is we should be capturing the post data from username and password. Okay. So what we'll do is we will get the post here. Okay. Echo of dollar underscore post of what we need a name. You know what the post has. Okay. So the name is username. All right, here. Okay, copy the name as username and echo of password. Post of password. This this password is actually the password is in the name. Don't use IDs. IDs is not sent back to the server. Only the password is. And the username is actually the name field is sent back to the server. All right. So now let's do a login. See test.com and test. Right. We have these two. Now let's check whether the data what has been sent or not. Here, if dollar underscore post of username, let's copy this, is not equal to null, or if you're not good and happy with this, you can do is set. Is set actually checks whether this data exists or not. And is set of the password. If both exists, then we can echo the username and echo the password. Let's check this. It's not echoing. You can test the test.com and test123 here. Okay. And let's try to send only the username. Look, only the username has been printed. But look, the password field has been sent, but it has no data. Okay. And if you want to really check whether the data exists, not just the is set, if password is not equal to empty, the entire post field is not equal to empty, then we have to print this at two things. Let's do empty password and login. It doesn't print because there is no password we have sent. If we hit test 1 2 3 4 5, and we have two fields here, and we hit login, it actually goes to the login. It actually prints it. Now let's check for the validity of the password. Okay. Now we have checked whether these two exist and these two data are coming to us. So what we do is if It's an if condition. If the password and username is double equal to, this is an equal to sign, which actually compared to the next data what we have, test at test.com, and dollar of post password double equal to test. If the username is equal to this email test@test.com and the post of password is double equal to test, if both matches, then we will go to echo that you are logged in, right? This actually shows you are logged in. So let's go to the front end and see hello.php login. You are logged in. Let's try with a different password. Test 9. Doesn't show anything, right? So what we would do this one is else. What you do is else echo wrong username password. If this is false, this block is false, then we'll come to the else block here, which will say test.com 12345 wrong username password. So if we just write test and test, this is you're logged in. So this is how you actually capture the data from this form. This is actually webinar.hello.php. This is actually hello.php file, which actually sends you two of these fields. When you hit submit, and it is caught in the top of the page by using the post method, and then post username, post the password, post a test. Okay, here you are logged in and you are not. This is how we capture. This is how we do a basic authentication without database. If we connect a database, we can just connect, get the data from there and actually compare it here. This is for the basics things where we created a page where we entered the data. Here we created a form, we created a method of submitting it, whether it's post or get, and when we submit, we actually caught it in the top of the page. We checked it for valid thing, and we compared it against our condition whether it is valid or not, and if it's valid we are showing the valid message, and if it's not, it is showing the not message. So this is how we create a normal HTML form and we actually submit it. So this is for today's class, and if you have any kind of doubts you can just let me know. So what I would be asking like everybody to is just to go through this and just make sure things are very good, uh, in sense that we are not losing any kind of forms and activities here, and you can just play with this form and come back with different data sets on this. I think we can just close it off.
Yeah. Is anyone having any doubts? You can text him over LinkedIn if you have if you need to talk to him regarding
Yeah,
PHP.
please do. All right.
Yeah.
So I think we are approaching the time of closing, right?
Yeah.
We have 1 hour. I think we have had a creative day of creating a form and submitting it.
So thank you everyone for joining the webinar. Hope
Yeah.
to see you next time too.
Yeah. Thank you.